Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. We're moving to the panel about challenges and opportunities in production and export of fruits and vegetables in 2023-2024. The moderator will be Goran Eror. The panelists will be Anna Bosnjak from Agro Bel, Aleksandar Knezevic from Deinceps, and Zoran Krunic from Delta Agrar. The floor is yours.
Dame i gospodo,
ladies and gentlemen, distinguished farmers, dear friends, and all of you who has something with dealing with agriculture. So we've heard that this panel will speak about the challenges and opportunities in production and export of fruits and vegetables in 2023 and 2024. That's the topic that is very attractive. And all of us who have anything to do with the production or involved in the production of fruits and vegetables are interested in this. As we've heard, I would like to use this opportunity to present our panelists, Anna Bosnjak. She comes from Agro Bel Systems, a young company founded in 2016, dealing with the production of high-quality berries. They have 20 hectares of their orchard, and a well-known company, Delta Agrar. They have been in agricultural business since 1993. They cover about 15,000 of hectares. About 600 of the hectares is under the apple orchards. And Deinceps company that has the production near Kopanic Mountain in Bruce. They also have the frozen processed fruit preserves, and we have Aleksandar Knezevic representing that company. Given that we have only one lady, I suppose that you have nothing against giving her the floor. Mrs. Bosnjak, this is a little bit a difficult year for blueberry. That is the view of many farmers. So what happened at the market? Is the problem with the markets or something else? Good day to everyone. I would like to thank you for inviting me to participate at this panel of this fantastic Agro Belgrade fair. We have been supporting this fair for 5 years. We as producers, we also have the closed network. Well, it's not a problem with the market or the demand. Last year, we had our place in the market for our blueberries, but we had a problem with many rainy days in May that had the impact on the fruit. So while our trucks were entering the EU market, the reports about the quality of our fruit were not good. So the importers started quite cautiously ordering our products. Some of the buyers just stopped with purchasing. So this was one of the most difficult years for our blueberry production. We learned a lot from last year's, and we realized that we had to make many changes. in the entire process. And on the other side, we have to raise the awareness of our farmers, and every individual farmer has to be more professional in the production of the fruit. Mr. Krunic, the manager of sales of Delta Agrar, is with us today. So when we speak about the sale of apples, we can see a lot of challenges in the market. So what was the last season like with regard to apples, or are there some positive trends? Thank you very much for inviting me to attend this event. When it comes to the last year, it was a quite challenging year with a lot of fluctuation, but we ended it quite successfully. We learned a lot. We realized what the problems were, and we are ready now for the new season. We finished the crops is quite high, so we positioned ourselves as a leader in the market for the fresh fruit, so the expectations are really high. So there are a lot of difficulties, many risks, and it's up to us to manage such risks and to do our best. Can we say that there are certain shifts in a positive direction? Yes, there are some shifts to positive direction, but we have to be quite cautious about the prices, because the entire geopolitical situation just gives us some impulses and signs that there are some difficulties, and we will see how this will end up, but we think that it will be good. When you say that there are some risks, and when a large company as Delta Agrar is, and when the representative of the company says that there are large risks that we face in the market, can we say how we can deal with these risks? And what are the steps that we can make to reduce those risks? Well, there are some risks that we cannot have any impact on, and that we are not, maybe we were not aware in the past. There were certain indicators, but there were the tensions in the Middle East, the transit time for our containers was extended, so we have to reduce those risks and to find some alternative routes or find some alternative markets, and to deal with that the best we can. Later on, we're going to speak about that in more details. Ms. Knezevic, a very interesting topic on frozen berries, particularly raspberries. So very difficult year is behind us. So can you tell us what happened, and is there a solution for this micro and small producers? You know, the raspberry is the topical issue. It is the issue that is always present. About 450,000 of people are directly involved with the raspberry, and 300,000 of people more are involved in some additional activities. So this sector, frozen sector, is facing really great challenges. So there were some wrong estimations that were made regarding the prices, then how the war in Ukraine will impact this. We thought that it will be the shortage of goods. Now we have the surplus of goods. Then some kind of a spiral that brought all these prices down was driven. So high interest rates, high prices of energy. So 2/3 of coal stores have been fighting to survive. What we are aware, it is obvious that there is a problem with producers of raspberries. So the raspberry producers had a quite challenging year because of the low prices. And you said that the cold store owners also have a problem. So to what extent such problems that cold store owners face have the impact on the farmers? Yes, it is a direct connection between the cold stores and the farmers. And growers. So that symbiosis operates in a different way. Something that affects the cold stores will also affect the growers. So what can we expect in the future? Well, it's every company will look at it in a different way. For example, 1/3 of companies that operate with large retailers have a different view of this. But we also have about 65% of small and mid-sized cold stores which are in a quite difficult situation. Horeca industry have been completely lost, and we will need more energy and more effort to bring back those customers. I think that we will face a couple of quite challenging years, particularly regarding the berries and raspberries in particular. Okay, thank you very much. Mrs. Bosnjak. We agreed that the last year was quite challenging, quite difficult. What are some perspectives for this 24 year? So what we can expect, and can you tell us how you see this? Are there some forecasts for this year? Well, it's very difficult to give forecasts because there are many factors that can impact the production. The things that happened last year, nobody expected, and most of us were surprised with that. So what we can do is to do our best and prepare ourselves to follow trends and to approach all these things in a professional way, the way we did. On the other side, the local market is quite stable. What we've noticed, and based on the figures that we have, the consumption of the berries per capita in Serbia have been growing. Our people have become aware that the quality food is very important for their lives. So when it comes to the local market, we feel quite stable. When it comes to export, as I said, in addition to blueberry, the raspberry and blackberry fresh are also interesting, but we have to have a premium product to have a really good quality that can survive the transportation and that can meet high expectations and standards of EU customers. So the quality is main thing. Mr. Krunic, we talked about this, and that you said that because of many circumstances we had to find new markets. So what happens with the Russian market? It's a traditional market. Our fruit producers were quite directed towards them. Is that now the closed market, or maybe in the future that market will be open and maybe we will establish new contacts or re-establish the contacts with them? As you said, Russian market is a traditional market not only for Delta Agrar but also for all Serbian exporters. So for us, as the Delta Agrar, Russian market remains the traditional one. In the past period, we worked on opening some new markets, like the Middle East markets, Saudi Arabia in particular, and we also worked on the development of the Indian market. We have been exporting to that market in the past 3 years, and we've been expecting the growth of those markets. We have a growing focus on the EU market, but we also work on the development of the African market. So our expectations are quite high, both business and sales policies to diversify the risks to the maximum, and we've been working on that quite intensely. When it comes to the EU market, is it difficult to find a place there? Yes, it is. It is quite demanding, and more demanding than the others. We increase the quantities and the volume that we export to UK market, but we try to work on the Spanish, Slovakian, Greek market. And when it comes to the China market, are there any agreements? Yes, we've signed the agreement with them. We are waiting for the verification. So it has been announced that in June this year the agreement will be verified. So apart from the China's producers, they need more apples from abroad. So we will try to work on that. Mr. Knezevic, what's the situation like regarding the capacity of cold stores? So will the cold store capacities be ready for the new quantities? So the capacity of the cold store is only one item. There are some other items like the working capital, the liquidity, and every company has to deal with this. So the problem with the raspberry is that there is still a lot of stock from 2022 and 23. Raspberry from 2022 lost more than half of its value, which is a great pressure on the liquidity of any company, no matter the size of the company is. But that burden on the company is really high. So there are some estimations regarding the crop, and it should be quite lower this year. The low price was not stimulative for the production. So we expect less quantity of the raspberry crop. When it comes to the space of the cold store, it's not a problem. The problem would be the liquidity and the funds that we have to cover these volumes. Can you give us some forecast for this year? What kind of forecast? I'm not speaking about the warehouse capacities, but the schedule of export. So we have the annual agreements on fruit export. So we've seen in Mr. Riemer's presentation how this looks like. Well, the market has been decreased a lot for us. The German market has almost disappeared. So we mostly sold to HoReCa and retail industry. Retail chains still buy from us in Serbia, but the work with the retail chain is conditioned with the high capacity, working capital, high standards, high value stocks, which is which maybe 25 to 30% of cold stores in Serbia can meet. So the situation is not the same for all of the players in this market. I believe that it will be difficult, but as I already said, some of the companies will deal with that burden much easier. We already mentioned this regarding the frozen raspberries, but if we understood you quite well, you also deal with the preserved fruit and the dry fruit. Is the situation much better there? Can you give us some advice, or to give advice to the vegetable and fruit growers regarding the processing of the products? Maybe my question is quite confused, but do you think that is one of the ways, the things that they should take into consideration, meaning the processing of the products in order to increase their production? Okay, we need a higher stage of production in order to be competitive in the market. So we have quite a high competition in the market. We invested a lot. We had investment regarding the heating and drying and the juice concentrate. So that's the road that could enable the stable sale in all fields. Mrs. Bosnjak, blueberry, it is said, when it appeared here in Serbia, it was quite a news, and it requires a lot of funds and investments in equipment and many other things. So how do you see the situation in a blueberry production in the next 5 years? Well, the berries production, generally the blueberry in particular, is quite demanding thing. And it is something that you have to do quite professionally. So you have to monitor the nursery, you have to know the everything about growing blueberry. But what we've noticed and what we expect in the next 5 years is that a certain number of growers will give up. Why? Because some of them had different expectations, and maybe they had less knowledge about that, and so we suppose that the number of or the coverage of the blueberry area will be smaller. And the other thing which is very important for blueberry is other varieties. We have to introduce some new varieties, and that is something that we see as a key thing for the future. Are there any other fruit or berries that can inherit a blueberry position? Has any variety or type of fruit appear in the meantime? Well, it's not so easy to come after a blueberry. Well, fresh raspberry can have the same position. For example, we have a completely controlled production of the raspberry in the pots, and we exported the fresh raspberry into some EU countries, and the customers were really happy with them. And that is something that is even more demanding. I mean, the production is more demanding than the blueberry production, but it is something that our growers, our producers have to work more on it. Mr. Krunic, what would be your message to the professional growers of the apples or another fruit to stay and remain in that business or change it? Well, the same as with blueberries. You have to follow the market and the trends and to change your customs and habits. It doesn't mean that something that is successful, that was successful in the past 3 years, will be successful in the next 3 years or 5 years. Sometimes there are some differences in not only in the production, but the type of packaging and the way of the transportation. You have to listen to the market and to see what your potential is. That's the only advice, and only in that way fruit growers can survive. What is your estimation for the next 5 or 10 years? Generally, in Serbia, the fruit was grown based on the demand in Russia. But now these things have been changing. So we export less to Russia. So the markets in the Middle East and the Russian market and the EU market differ. So hopefully the China in the future will be our market, and it's also a different market compared to the others. So you have to produce the fruit with regard to the requirements of that market. That's the only way. If we stick to that road, it's sure that there's potential for success. Does it mean that we have to change the variety? No, it doesn't mean that, but we have to monitor the trends. So every 3 or 4 years, certain trends change. Mr. Knezevic, how do you see this industry in the next 5 or 10 years? What to do? What to focus on? Well, 5 to 10 years is a long period. I would like to see what can happen in the next 2 years. In any case, very serious decisions are ahead of us. We have the situation with a very different sales situation. We have different customers, and the way that we dealt with that is not sustainable. That is something that requires more detailed analysis, and the commercial banks, as the banks that companies rely on, maybe would not be the good solution for the red fruit. We need different requirements to meet. So here I think about 65 micro and small companies which cover almost 80% of fruit production. I expect a considerable reduction of the companies that operate with this fruit, and those that continue dealing with this will have the vertical integration or become a part of the partners companies. Definitely there will be the aggregation of the companies. Can a state do something, or what will be necessary to be done at this moment so that the state systemically support this sector? That's a great question. We are part of the largest association of cold stores. So we had a great cooperation with the banks and the moratorium that was approved in January 2023, and the decision from July last year about the warehousing of raspberries and sour cherries helped a lot of to us. But when we speak about the raspberries, it's not only raspberry, because the cold stores store not only raspberries but also some other fruits, and that problem with raspberry will flow over other fruit. So the role of the state is very important, and we hope that they are going to help with the extension of moratorium. And that is a specific request from our association. And it's a request from all cold stores, so from top 20 exporters down to the 400 and something ranked cold store. Mrs. Bosnjak, what is necessary that a state does for better situation in this industry? I think that we have to start from education, and I think that we have to focus on the agricultural faculty program, and we have to provide the young students a lot. We have to give them opportunity to travel to some nearby countries so that they can learn some operational things, so that when they leave the faculty that they can have some technical knowledge necessary for one agricultural engineer. And we need that. And we need that for berries, blueberries, raspberries. We need innovative innovative technologies, the production in the pots, and it's a trend, and we cannot wait there. We have to invest into the young students. We have to work on their education, work in the field. That is something that is the key. And I think that subsidies exist, and they are bigger and bigger year on year. But the application system is quite complex, and an average grower cannot deal with this administration, and sometimes they give up. Program which is fantastic and gives a lot not only to the small growers but also the companies, but people just cannot do that alone. Even when they have consultants as a support, it's difficult for them to get the funds. Sometimes that funds that are available for the growers to improve their production are still unattainable because of the administration. Also, the rule books. So the people who write rule books have to go leave their office to go to the field and see how, the things that changed a lot, and that put those new things in those rule books so that the growers can use them. We fought for 2 years to list the raspberries in pots into the rule book. So there are blueberries in pots, but not the raspberries. But who produces, those who produce the raspberries in pots, they cannot get any subsidies on return on investment. So we gave our small contribution to that by insisting on this, writing emails. We were quite persistent in our fight, and it has been changed. So I asked the growers to use the subsidies as much as possible so that they can make much easier for all of us in the chain the work, and to get the best possible product we can sell at any market possible. You mentioned education of the people who are in the fruit sector. Is it difficult to educate people or the seasonal workers working in the fields, plantations, or orchards about the grafting, for example, of fruit trees? So the problem is to find the workers, and when we find them, to keep them and to educate them. So many people who worked on in our orchards that we taught this. Well, it's very important for the raspberries that the crop is separated into the first and second class. And now since we do not have the local worker, we turn ourselves to the workers from abroad, and it's a reality in all sectors because the major challenge to find not only the seasonal workers but also engineers, technological workers, all the stuff that we need to cover this process. Thank you very much, Mr. Krunic.
Očekujete i šta bi po vašem
Mr. Krunic, what would be a substantial or meaningful support of the state in your opinion? We mentioned the agreement with China. It is a good step forward. We also expect an agreement with Egypt to continue progressing, which will open a door to new markets. So we'll see whether we will succeed in the future based on these agreements. What would be your message to young people who are present at this conference today, who have the will, the desire to embark on the production? First of all, education. Before starting any business, any production, you have to be well educated, trained, and then after that you can specialize your or pick up your area of specialty. Delta Agrar is a company that gives a chance to young people. We know that you also organize many training sessions through thematic events, conferences, workshops, etc. To what extent, in your opinion, this corporate responsibility is important? Is there anything we can change? It is extremely important. I wish we had more companies like Delta Agrar, which gives more opportunities to young people for them to gain experiences or even to stay in that company, to continue working as a professional or to be promoted after some time. So this is a kind of call to young people to contact you. Mr. Knezevic, a question for you. Your message in general, not only to the young people, the people in production or in agriculture who are still planning to continue their business, what would be your message given all these challenges they faced with in the previous period? The market will recover, there is no doubt about that. According to some projections of the European Central Bank, in early 2026, inflation will be stopped. The high interest rate or energy costs will be controlled to a certain extent, so it will be okay, but for the company, for their future. But speaking about the young people, I would like to tell them to try to become members of some associations or expert organizations as much as possible to gain certain knowledge, skills, experiences. I wish we had more entrepreneurship spirit, entrepreneurs spirit which will spread among the young people. Can we speak about some degree of optimism? Yeah, well, optimism must exist. Everybody doing anything must be an optimistic in the long run. Thank you very much, our dear panelists. And what would be your message? We always can see a rainbow after rain. Last season was difficult, and we do hope it will not be repeated. And now, with new spirit and new energy, we should embark on the new season to implement all our plans. We have a couple of questions from the audience, but please be as brief as possible because we have only a couple of minutes left. Please, I'll give you a mic. Thank you. It was great to listen to all of you. My name is Dragiša Terzic. I'm a raspberry producer on 2.5 hectares. I recently visited the Netherlands. And I could see everything you were talking about. So Serbia, in the past 3 years, reached 60,000 tons in export of frozen raspberries, but the production is decreasing. I'm coming just from the ground. 70% of producers didn't meet their goals. So what I expect is that the higher quantities of 45 tons will not be reached. That's my prognosis. What I have to tell you, since the 1980s, I've been monitoring the situation on the markets, and my family has been involved in this business for 50 years, since 1974. But every 10 years, we have some 2 years with extra good prices, and then 2 years with very bad prices, and 6 years of some average prices. Perhaps fresh raspberry is a good product, but according to some scientific institutions, some institutions are not involved enough because not involved to satisfactory extent, because now I could see in the Netherlands their research centers, people who got their PhD degrees on many raspberry varieties in this field. That's what Serbia needs. After 60 years, we need a scientific contribution. Our research institutions, centers, institutions should be more involved in this production. You've probably heard about Melanet and some other raspberry varieties. My yield is 20 hectares per hectare, 20 tons per hectares. But young people, even those who want to be educated or trained, they don't have a good trainer, or those who would teach them. Is there anybody who would like to ask a question? If not, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this panel discussion and Agro Belgrade. This was an excellent opportunity to exchange information, to see what problems and challenges we have, not only those we faced with in 2023, but those who are ahead of us in the coming year of 2024. We have to be in constant touch with relevant producers, relevant institutions, and our exporters, and I'm sure that together we can achieve a lot. Thank you very much, and I wish you even better crops, better harvests in this year ahead of us. Thank you. Thank you again.